what I'd like to do is turn the floor or turn the screen over to the president and CEO of Trova, Scott Leppert. Scott, take it away.
Good afternoon or good morning to everyone, and just want to reiterate saying thank you for joining us today on this virtual press conference here. New tricks for old dogs, I guess you could say, for this year. So what I want to do today is just spend a little time talking through the origin story for brand Trova, our brand that my wife and I co-founded a few years back, and then give you guys a little bit more of a deep dive into what we're focused on for 2021 with our flagship product in Trova Home. So our origin story, my wife and I are the co-founders, as mentioned, and our origin story really is driven from a real world need that we had in our lives. We've got two boys born 13 months apart. We called that ripping the Band-Aid off method, from going from no kids to parenting. And when they were about 6 and 7, my wife was really battling with a bad case of insomnia, and it was keeping her up and really driving her close to insane. And the solution, we live in Colorado, the solution for her, this was 2016, the solution for her ended up being legalized recreational marijuana, specifically with high CBD levels in it. And so she started taking some nighttime CBD with a little bit of THC in them, pills, and it solved the insomnia, which was great for the whole family. At the same time, though, we ended up having, some of these products around our house, and we've got two very curious, little boys running around, kind of always in our stuff. Nothing is off limits when you got kids, and these days. And so our privacy really felt like it was under attack. We started looking around the house and, realized that it wasn't just those things that potentially could, be harmful to them, but there were things that we would have probably called, my wife's neck massagers, for example, and my kids might have accidentally gotten their hands on. And today at 13 and 12, they probably understand what those neck massagers actually were. And we realized there was lots of things that we wanted to have, sort of daily use, potentially accessible and convenient, but locked away and secure at the same time. And so started looking around the marketplace, and there was nothing that met our expectation for modern design, smart feature integration, or convenience of use. And so from that, Trova was born. We started working with an award-winning design firm in New York City named Are You Lydon? And actually we've won a couple of awards for our products, having worked with those guys, and they've been tremendous partners throughout. So in middle 2019, we soft launched Trova with our first industrialized and manufactured product in Trova Go, which is our smallest portable carry with you safe. And then really looked at CES 2020 as the true launch of our brand. And from there, they probably take you guys into a little bit more formal presentation on how we position Trova. We've really focused on positioning it as a platform of privacy and discretion. So let me share my screen here, and then I will get this started. Share that and start this. Okay. So really, again, we're built on this notion of, do you have something to hide? That's a question that we ask our customers. And luckily for us, there's lots of people out there that have something in their lives they'd like to exercise discretion around. So the problem is relatively straightforward. In today's world of ever diminishing privacy, we feel that people have possessions and personal items they don't want exposed. It might be prescription drugs, it might be legal recreational drugs, it could be personal protection items like mace and things like that you probably is not so safe just kept in a sock drawer in your bedroom, especially if you got kids running around. It could also be cash and valuables and jewelry and things like that with you on the go or at the gym when you're out moving around. And there is no modern smart way to store things that you want within reach but out of sight and secure at the same time. So the solution is our positioning of privacy and our product range of all of our Trova sizes. That's made to keep your personal items and rituals away from prying eyes and curious hands, whether it's out and about when we return to being out and about or in your home. So what are we? We're a new category of smart storage products delivering the luxury of privacy. We pair with your mobile phone, leveraging its biometric verification, so true smart device when you app enable the product. It also allowed us to design a product that is very sleek, without anything on it that would give away that it is a item that's holding something. So there's no fingerprint reader on it intentionally. It also allows us to tap into smart notifications and GPS and things like that. We provide a premium design forward daily use solution for your possessions. And we feature multiple form factors from our smallest Trova Go, pocket size, up through Trova Go Plus, and then into our flagship size Trova Home, which we'll be launching this year. So here's a picture of all of those form factors. We've industrialized 2 out of those so far, the 2 smallest sizes, and we're close to industrializing Trova Home. So we were inspired, as I mentioned earlier, by real world need for privacy that we feel like we can provide. Really, our mission is to own the convergence of luxury, technology, and privacy with the first smart home safe designed for daily use, and also designed to be overlooked in your home. Trova Go and Trova Go Plus are on sale today on our website, and Trova Home will be landing here in early Q2 of 2021. So we're well down the path, and we've got some great feedback from the consumer already. And from there, I'll kick it back to Steve for some videos. And I'll
okay. And Scott, if you want to fill your, there we go. All right, so we'll click on share screen and see if we get this rolling. That was the first one.
Second one's hopefully going to make you guys laugh and smile just a little bit.
Yeah, a little more. Ooh.
Thank you, Steve.
Did I screw that up at the end?
No, it's fine. It was done.
Okay, cool.
It's all good. All right, so let me kind of like to do a little bit of a deep dive now into Trova Home, our flagship. So let me share my screen again.
And Scott, with everybody kind of off screen, we can't tell whether they were smiling or scowling.
Yeah. Any reactions, welcome. All right, let's see. Whoa. Hold on, my computer's doing something a little strange. Hold on a second. All right. Okay, are we back up and running? Can you guys see that?
Yeah, I hope everybody saw Jeff's text.
I did not.
He needs a cold shower now.
Good. So if you guys can see me, I'll just show you real quickly our Trova Home appearance sample here. This is one of the first ones off of our tooling. Really the focus for this year is our flagship product, as people are not on the go as much as they once were and are oftentimes at home. And really our privacy at home is exacerbated pretty significantly with kids remote learning from time to time and people not being out and about quite as much. So we are the first smart home safe designed for convenient daily use. And I think that the use cases that I'm presenting here today are maybe a little bit less traditional than what people will typically put in a safe in their closet or something like that. And that is intentional. While this is very secure and can be bolted down to whatever surface you want to place it on, it is not what's intended to be sort of locked away in your closet. It's intended to be, out on your kitchen counter or your bathroom counter or your bedside table or a bookshelf and so forth and so on. And so the items then that people put in there are sort of the things that, you wouldn't want to put your only copy of your will in a Trova. You'd want to use a, security lockbox at a bank or a true safe in your closet or something like that. But it's kind of meant for everything else that you don't want exposed to your house guests or your cleaning people or your children and things like that. We have combined, elegant award-winning design, premium materials, and smart IoT features to someone's point earlier. It's really hard to get a feel for our product over video. I acutely understand that. We've used a CNC machine finished aluminum shell on this product. We've got some really nicely designed interior features as it relates to organization. We've got internal USBs on it as well, so you can charge items inside of it if you'd like to. It's battery powered, so it doesn't need to be tethered to power all the time. But most importantly, I think the award-winning design and the premium finish that comes with using aluminum really sets it apart and creates its kind of own positioning in the marketplace. Really, we bridge the gap from dumb, ugly, and utilitarian lockboxes to the consumer's modern day expectations for seamless integration into our lives. And really what we're pointing to here is that we feel like fundamentally everybody's appreciation for high quality design has expanded dramatically in the last 13 or 14 years since the iPhone came out. And we're trying to bring this space of lockboxes into modern day expectation for design and integration of smart features. A little bit more on some of our features, kind of a lot to look at here, so I'll run quickly. But Trova Home is both Wi-Fi and Bluetooth connected to the app on our phone. And in addition to that, we've added NFC to Trova Home, so you can tap to open. One of the things that we heard from our consumers that have pre-ordered this is that they would really like a way for very fast access, and that tap to open feature allows them to skip the biometric authentication, which only takes a couple of seconds anyways, but will allow them to get into it even quicker. So for the use cases of personal protection items in the bedroom or things like that, in the case of home invasion, it allows that faster access. Also for B2C development down the road, B2B development down the road, we've had a number of hotels, high-end hotels, be interested in using this as their in-room safe. And so we wanted to add a system that would work with keys, so if you get a coded key to get into the room, it'll also get you into your Trova. We've got a suite of smart notifications. Obviously, Wi-Fi connectivity for Trova Home allows us to have a primary user notified if a secondary user is accessing it, or if it's been moved. It has a motion sensor built into it, so it's tamper-proof in the sense that if somebody does try to access it or move it, you'll be notified anywhere that that's happening. We've also added a humidity sensor. So if people are using it for the recreational marijuana use case, humidity is an important component. And so we've added that feature to allow people to more closely monitor the humidity of their product in there. We've done a number of internal organizational features. Actually, the top half of Trova Home has a couple of these ridged shelves that are removable and slidable. So you get double layer of organization inside of Trova Home. You can easily nestle rings in here and things like that if you'd like. We are on Trova Go. We have a never lost feature, which essentially taps your phone's GPS. So when the Trova and the phone are together, they're tracking each other. When they separate, it marks last known location. So you leave it. If you leave it behind, you can quickly re-find it quickly. Or if somebody takes it from you, you'll be notified right away. As mentioned earlier, we leverage biometric authentication or passcode authentication. So in today's world of masks, phone face ID has a little bit less convenient than it once was prior to the world of masks. And that allows you to go back to just a passcode ID if you don't want to use the biometric authentication native to your phone if it's using Face ID. We essentially just leverage what's in the phone. And so when Apple moves to fingerprint anywhere on the device, we'll be able to leverage into that as well. And then lastly, because of the precision of the product with the CNC machined aluminum finish to it, we're able to make a very tightly sealed product, which again really helps with discretion and security. So it's kind of a quick overview of our features. And then here's some photos just of how it's being brought to life in people's homes. So we wanted to make something that was as discreet as it was secure, something that could sit on a bookshelf and be easily overlooked. And certainly safety for prescription medicines is one of the things that people tell us for. We feel like everybody's got something to hide, and really the goal here is to keep the personal private with Trova. And lastly, if you look at our on-the-go products, it's really a portable and lockable storage anywhere you go. When we travel, or when we traveled, I should say, we were never all that comfortable with hotel room safes. They just don't seem to be the best solution. So we like to put some of our jewelry or cash from wherever we were going to be returning to in this. You put it in the bottom of a bag or the bottom of a drawer, and it really just looks like a battery pack or a hard drive or something. It's typically overlooked. Nobody would ever think there's anything inside of it except you. So that is that's the quick overview. Open it up, I guess, at this point to questions.
Perfect. Brian, do you want to kick us off there?
Yeah, thank you, Scott. There's a couple folks, or Arlen on chat has a couple questions. One is it waterproof with the seal?
It's highly water resistant. It's not waterproof. Water is not going to get into the main compartment, but the electronics, and if you guys can see here, the USB-C plug, from that plug into where the PCBA and the battery sits is not watertight. So quick answer is no, but it is highly water resistant. So if you drop it in some water or something like that, it's still going to function just fine.
And a follow-up question from Arlen as well, asking about the battery life for use in its lifetime.
Yeah.
How does that?
So we've got a lithium battery in Trova Go and in Trova Home. The Trova Home battery consumption is going to be quite a bit higher because of Wi-Fi. The way we've built the Wi-Fi module is that it only will use that battery power when it needs to be woken up, basically. So if it's moved or accessed, then Wi-Fi will turn on, or if you're trying to remote open it. So long story short, on Trova Home, we've not been able to test the battery power yet because it's going to be so dependent on how much people are using it, and how often they're accessing the Wi-Fi components, which, as you guys know, is a really high power consumption. On Trova Go, again, it is a little bit dependent on how often it's opened up, but the standby time is very long. So over a month. People don't have to charge it very often. You got to probably charge it once a month or something like that.
Okay, a couple. I'm going to combine a couple questions here, Scott. Here's a softball. How much does it weigh? That's the first one.
Trova Home or Trova Go?
Both.
Trova Go is about 9.5 ounces. Trova Home, we actually don't have a final weight on because we don't have product out of final tooling yet, but it'll be a couple of pounds.
Okay, another question here. It's from Mark. He's asking, is there any plans to have a tracker device?
Yeah, it's a good question. So on Trova Go, it's something that we have always had on the product roadmap, but it comes with quite a bit of complication. The first thing is that the consumer will need to sign up for some sort of a monthly or annual GPS tracking service contract, which adds cost to the product. It'll also have to be charged probably daily at that point. So it changes the dynamic of the product, which right now is really about discretion and being overlooked. And what we decided to do, instead of building that in and driving the cost up, we're already a premium product. Trova Go is at $199. And that's actually down from our initial launch price of $249. What we decided to do was build our customer base and then ask them if they felt like that would be a key component that they wanted to have with the GPS tracking or not. And so at this point, we're not getting feedback from our consumer that they want to add that feature. They're very happy with the sort of security in plain sight that Trova Go and Trova Go Plus are giving them.
All right, here's a simple one. Would you mind holding it up again, Scott, and giving everybody a sort of a tour, should I say, maybe that?
Yeah. So here's Trova Go, and I saw another question pop up that was asking if I could open it. So let me just pair real quick. It's going to be a little bit turn sideways here. So open the Trova app, and let me make sure this one's on, and we'll pair. And then we just click and verify face and it's open. So Trova Go and Trova Go Plus are similar in form factor. So there's a nice small tray here at the bottom, large enough for credit cards. On the top, you have a magnetic ring strap and then also an additional strap underneath that. The difference between Trova Go and Trova Go Plus is around the interior capacity. And so on Plus, we've taken and made the lid size match the bottom half of Trova. Go, and it adds about 60% interior capacity. The reason we did that again was in listening to our customers. We had a few people that wanted to fit larger watches in here. Today, this size will fit like a 40 mil Rolex with a metal band, provided the band can sit flat. But if you have a leather band that doesn't sit perfectly flat, the volume gets taken up pretty quickly. And so we wanted to create more space on top to accommodate those larger items. And then it just relatches when you close it. Real simple. Sits in your hand nicely.
Thank you. Doug has a question about the Wi-Fi, if it handles both 2.4 and 5 gigahertz.
Yes, it does.
And then there's a follow-up question from John asking about, you mentioned it briefly, can this item be secured in any way to a shelf or something else?
Yeah, so Trova Home will have two ways to be secured. The first way is if somebody wants a permanent solution, there is a way to bolt down through the middle. It's actually not on this appearance sample. I already showed it to you, but you can bolt down through the inside of the case into whatever shelf or countertop you're putting the Trova on. And then in addition to that, if you don't want that permanent of a solution, say you're a renter, for example, or Airbnb host or something like that, maybe you want something a little bit less permanent, we're also building a Kensington lock compatibility into it so that you can use a cable lock, which is a standard, as you guys I'm sure are all aware of, for laptops and things like that. It's a real simple way to build in a nice way to have it secure. We have not done that for Trova Go or Trova Go Plus intentionally, because anytime we put something on the outside that makes it look like it might hold something, it then becomes a target. And so it gets really, Trova Go taps more into the notion of security in plain sight.
Brian, at this point, do we just kind of want to throw open the floor and let folks just kind of ask questions away if they want?
Yeah, and I'd also, if you want to, Scott, give the retail prices again for the
Yes.
different items and
Yeah, thank you.
availability online, as you said.
Yep. So Trova Go is $199 retail. Trova Go Plus is $229 retail. Trova Home is $549 retail. Actually, we had originally targeted that at $699, but we've come down throughout this year, value engineering it after kind of soft showing it at CES last year. So we're now at $549. Ultimately, I'd like to be at $499, but we're not quite there yet. Especially with aluminum tariffs and things like that. We're produced in Shenzhen, so we're up against some pretty high tariffs there.
A follow-up question, John. John is asking if you have any issues going through, I guess, airport security with the Trova Go?
Yeah, so it needs to be in a carry-on bag because it does have a lithium battery, so it doesn't go into check bags. So you want to go through TSA with it. It's made of aluminum, so it looks like a computer would look like when it goes through security. Obviously, we ask all of our customers to adhere to all local laws. And it will show, if you put it through TSA security and there's a knife inside of it, for example, that's going to show up. But organic substances or jewelry and things like that obviously will show up a little bit differently. So I've traveled with it prior to this year. I've traveled probably, 200,000 miles. I've never been asked once to open it up or what it is. And you also wanted me to, so we are available for sale on our website, which is Trova Official, Trova, and then official, official.com. And we're selling Trova Go and Trova Go Plus for immediate delivery, and Trova Home is in a pre-order status right now. Again, hopefully bringing it here early Q2 this year.
Okay. Scott, you mentioned originally the origin of this was an interesting thought with your wife, and now talk to us where you are today. It sounds like with hotels and Airbnbs, there's lots of different outlets that people wouldn't normally think of that this would, oh, that's a great idea to have something like that. Have you, you found yourself sort of surprised what other industries might find this useful and as a luxury item as well as a secure thing?
Yeah, I think what happened is that as we started to test this idea against the consumer, against people that we knew, advisors and the media as well, we started learning a lot about what this would be used for. And so instead of really prescripting to people what to put in there, we've just sort of said, look, you want to exercise discretion in your life. You're sophisticated in your approach to life. And, we'll allow you to decide what discretion means to you. And certainly those are two different things for people with and without kids. And so there's a little bit of bifurcation there. And then as we looked at the broader world of safes, there is not a lot of modernization that's happening in that space. And so as a result, when you look at, people that are design forward, or, hotels or Airbnb hosts and things like that are design forward, we found that we could be a solution for modernizing that space and really bringing it forward from the keypad lock or, the traditional key lock sort of space that's out there today. So it's an ambitious project for two, co-founders. My wife and I are really the two people behind this company. And, but we feel like there's, lots of runway, and we have very loyal customers that are telling us they love the privacy that this product gives them. And so I think, privacy is ubiquitous right now. It's something that is constantly under attack, both digitally and in the physical realm. And so we want to provide a solution, that gives people privacy across wherever they want to use it, whether it's traveling or at a hotel or in a rented home or at their own home.
Brian, any more questions in chat?
We don't have anything else in chat, so can certainly open it up. If anybody would like to reach out and just have a question. Looks like Arlen's geared up for another one here.
You mentioned it goes into like bed and breakfast and things like that. My question is, if I'm a resident of the bed and breakfast and I pair with it, I leave, somebody else comes in and pairs with it, which is okay. Can I come back in there, or is it only, you can only pair one device per unit? Meaning, could somebody, does the security exist there?
Yeah. So it's still, full transparency, it's still under development with our, with our app and software developers. But the way that it is spec'd to work is that just like a door key for a hotel room would expire once that person checks out, that person's pairing to the device will expire when they check out. So the software is fairly extensive. We have to develop, software that will interface with, larger hotel chains and things like that. We are not, that functionality is built into the board and into the firmware, but the software is going to take us more than this year to get developed for that development of that business channel. So it's pretty, as you can imagine, it's pretty substantial. Good question though.
Anybody else? Any other questions?
Yeah, let me chime in if you don't mind. How easy is
please.
how easy is it to break it? Like, some videos I've seen on Amazon safes, you can just throw on the floor, it pops right open. You don't even need a code or anything. How easy is this one to break?
Two different answers. So Trova Go, let me say a couple of things. Any professional thief can break into most safes in less than a minute. So, again, we don't want somebody to put their only copy of their will in a Trova. We want them to put, things that are more daily use oriented and, potentially a little bit less detrimental if lost. So Trova Home, though, is very secure. We have 2 cam locks on it. And if it's bolted down, it's going to be hard. Somebody could rip it off, I suppose, out of the granite or out of the table and then pry it open with a crowbar or something like that. But, it's going to take a bit of effort. It's not going to be something that just cracks open with a butter knife. Trova Go, because of how small it is, is probably a little bit less of a smart home safe like Trova Home is, and a little bit more like an item that helps protect privacy and discretion. So it's a little bit of a bifurcation in the 2 products and how we have to talk about it to the consumer. Obviously, the bigger form factor with Home, we can do a whole lot more with from a security perspective than with how small the lock has to be on Trova Go. If somebody were to run off with your Trova Go, so say you're exposed, somebody watches you put a nice watch in a Trova Go, and then you leave a Trova Go sitting there that it can easily be taken. First off, I'd be concerned about your decision making, but say that happens and somebody runs off with it, are they going to be able to break into it with a screwdriver and a hammer? Absolutely. Are they going to be able to run over it with a car and have it break open? Probably. Is it as easy as throwing it on the ground? It's a little bit harder than that, but it is aluminum, and if with enough force, can you deform it? You can. and you can get it open. So, but again, Trova Home more in the world of traditional, traditional security.
I was going to say, doesn't the security come more from the design of the product than the security on the product? People don't think to look. You said it looks like a battery backup or something like that. So
yeah, that's the idea, really. And again, if you're doing it discreetly and somebody isn't watching you, for my wife, and this is and a lot of her friends, they used to go to these social gyms, and in those gyms they take their jewelry off and they just like set that in their bag in a cubby. And that really made me super nervous. And so what she does now is she puts it in here. And then this is sitting in the bottom of her bag. Nobody's going to think twice about it. It's just, hunk of metal sitting in the bottom of her purse. Just happens to have some really nice jewelry inside of it. So, but she's really the only one that knows that. But yeah, we definitely wanted to tap into the notion of security in plain sight with the smallest size.
Speaking of size, Scott, are you looking at expanding the size of this? Obviously, you went from one smaller phone case size to the Trova Home, and is there a next step above that?
Yeah, so we have plans for what we would sort of codename Trova Travel today, which is a product we'll probably wait to bring out for a little bit here. But it's intended to be a size that would be more portable than Trova Home, but large enough to fit a passport and currency from home and things like that. It will be Kensington lock enabled. So if you are traveling and you're not comfortable with the security that is offered wherever you're staying, it'll give you a better solution there. And then we have the potential for a slightly different size Trova Home. But again, those are all sort of future product roadmaps right now. We've engineered Trova Go Plus, and Trova Home at this point. And really the focus is going to be on Trova Home for the foreseeable future.
Great. Well, there's another comment from Jeff here.
Yep.
Who has one. The seam between the lid and the base is slim enough, I think, that a simple pry bar wouldn't fit into it too easily, I don't think.
Yeah, and actually on Trova Home, the appearance sample, it looks bigger than it really will be. So I think I mentioned the Trova Home has a cam lock. So as the latches come down on Trova Home, the lock actually cams it tighter. So it's a very tight seal on Trova Home. And a crowbar would be way too big of an object to try to get in there. And then on Trova Go, it's a very precise and small seam, as you can see here. So you're not going to get much in there.
Yeah, I have the Trova Go Plus, and I haven't tested it yet as far as trying to break into it. But if somebody steals it out of your bag and takes off with it, they're going to be able to break into it eventually, I'm sure.
Yep.
But
Yep.
It's not going to be a quick job.
Yep. Thank you. I hope you're enjoying it.
I am. Like I said in my comment early on, the only issue I have is the angular base.
Yeah.
But I mean that's nitpicking.
Yeah.
I'd rather it sat flat when I set it on a desk, but that's nitpicking.
Yeah, we've had that comment a couple of times, and it was funny through the design process with RU Lydon. We actually debated that pretty extensively. And ultimately, because the inside capacity was so tight, and we needed every millimeter we could get for the battery to sit underneath the tray on the bottom half, we opted for that additional, couple millimeters of space. And we sort of liked the way that it sort of sat on a countertop at an angle. We actually intentionally balanced it as well, so the user could pick which side that it would sit on. So, it was discussed. Whether or not we made the right decision, I don't know. We've as founders of this company, we've probably faced 20,000 decisions in the last couple of years, and I'm sure I've been wrong on more than one. That might have been one of them.
Well, I mean, with that explanation, I mean that does kind of make sense, and I'll be sure to include that in my review when I finish it.
Cool.
Okay, folks. Anybody else have any questions? Happy to answer some more, or if not, appreciate everybody's time today. We know you're going to be inundated, and appreciate you taking the opportunity to take a look at this product. And as Steve mentioned earlier, We've got some materials if you are reviewing and need some high-res imagery and some more background. We have that in the press kit. I'll put that again in the chat room, and then and if anybody of our team can set up anything for next week or in the future, we're happy to help you guys out.
Yeah, happy to do interviews too. I've done a few. Did one with CNET yesterday, leading up to the show. So happy to, do anything on camera or just over the phone as well.
Folks, thanks very much for joining us. We really do appreciate your time. We hope this was a good forum for you guys. And again, as Brian said and Scott said, please reach out to us if you want any one-on-one conversations or additional info. Best wishes for what promises to be a truly unique CES next week. And we really look forward to seeing all of you in person at CES 2022. So thanks again, everybody, for joining us.